Welcome, good day everyone, and today we're going to be looking at a part of a listening module in IELTS, which is information and box matching. My name is Swapnil Rai and I will be your host for today. Let's begin. First of all, we're going to be looking at the task mechanics that we will need to complete successfully the box matching question types. Moving on, the core concept of information matching is the candidates will be presented with two distinct lists, right? You're going to be looking at two lists and your main task is to listen to the audio script and identify the correct relationship between the items in these two lists. What does it mean? It means that you're going to be looking at both lists and you're going to be matching or dragging for the CD-based IELTS the information to the audio script or part of the audio script it matches with. Now, some common variants could be like matching specific statements to the corresponding speakers, as in certain speakers may talk about certain things. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be matching the statements to the corresponding speakers' names. Then you might also have descriptive features to the broader categories. Sometimes you'll be listening to speakers talking about a lot of categories. So what you'll then be doing is you'll present it with some features in the information section, and you're going to be writing down the categories of these features next to the categories. Moving on. So, in order to begin our listening test regarding information box matching, we're going to be going through a pre-listening preparation. This involves 3 steps. Analyze the lists. So you're going to be handed a downtime of 30 to 35 seconds before the audio starts playing. What you need to do is you need to look at the questions very thoroughly and use this downtime well. So what we advise is to instruct the students to read both lists thoroughly before the audio begins, so you understand what the speakers are talking about. Next, you're going to be anticipating, because some things never appear exactly as written. They're going to be paraphrased in different ways. So what you need to do is you need to anticipate what the answer is going to be before it has been shown to you, before you even listen to the part of the audio script. And then you have to internalize. What does internalize mean? It means that students should commit the main categories of speakers' names to memory, because you're going to be listening to the audio for only once. You cannot make the audio repeat itself. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to become familiar with the topic that's being discussed in the audio script, and then you're going to match and move on. So next up, while you're listening, you also have to follow some strategies. For example, isolate the opinions. So in the IELTS listening test, you're going to be facing many different types of traps. What you then be doing is that you will be matching the speakers, and you will need to train your ears and listen for some key phrases like I think, in my opinion, or I believe. Then you have to stay alert. Under no circumstances should you ever lose your focus, because if you lose your focus, you will miss the opportunity to answer a question as well. Next up, listen for connectors. When two different ideas or multiple different ideas are connected, usually they use connectors such as because, so, therefore, and as a result. So in addition to the things we have discussed already, you should also train your ears to look for the logical connectors. Then, how do you manage the missed answers? So we are all human beings, so it is very elementary, it is very normal for us to miss a few answers in our first try. So we're not going to be frustrated. It is really important to keep the momentum going. So say, for example, you've missed the answer of a question. Please do not hesitate to move on. You cannot change what's already been done, but you can still change the outcome. So don't be frustrated and move on with answering the questions. Next up, we have some crucial rules of the task that we need to be aware of. First of all, standard usage. Unless it says specifically in the question, Each option that is mentioned is intended to be used only once, because once you've used up an answer, you can only use it once. It will not repeat itself. Next up, you'll have to expect certain distractors. The speakers in the audio clip will try to distract you by providing unnecessary information, so you need to keep an eye on that. There are frequently more options provided than there are questions, and it is important to remind our students that not all the options will be used. So be prepared for that. Next up, we have a common classroom drill. Now we're going to be breaking down this scenario part by part and explain why the answers are meant to be like this. So we're setting up the scenario. A tour guide is talking to a group of visitors about various galleries inside a museum. Now the question prompt, it says, match each gallery 1 to 3 with its main feature A to D. First off, we have ancient Egypt. Then we have medieval Europe. And lastly, we have modern art. And the features are listed below. A, interactive screens. B, original artifacts. C, audio guides. And then D, hands-on workshop. So if we analyze the audio transcript, first of all, we have for the Egyptian section, in our Egyptian collection, everything you see is authentic. Nothing is a replica. So what do we understand from this? We understand that, do you notice how authentic and not a replica directly maps into the option original artifacts? Because we know once it is mentioned that it is authentic, it is original or not a replica, as in it is not duplicate. So we can recognize the synonym and we can match it to original artifacts. Verbatim or word for word matching rarely happens in the listening test. You will not be seeing the exact same word that is being used in the audio script, okay? For next section, moving to the medieval gallery, we've recently installed touchscreen displays where you can explore timelines. If we try to match the keywords, touchscreen display matches interactive screens. Interactive means that we can interact with something. Now, when you're presented with touchscreen, you can touch it, you can interact with it. So we can understand that touchscreen displays matches the option interactive screens. So then, continuing with the analyzing the transcript, and our contemporary wing has a dedicated space where visitors can try sculpting and painting techniques. So this is what's being played in the audio, yeah? So we understand that there is a dedicated space where visitors can try painting things themselves, painting and sculpting. So if we try to match the keywords, contemporary wing and try sculpting and painting matches hands-on workshop. What does this happen? Because we understand that whenever the visitors are given the opportunity to paint and sculpting, which means that they have an hands-on interaction session with whatever that is being displayed at the museum. So we can safely say that the answer will be option D, or hands-on workshop. So if we look at the synonyms and paraphrasing mapping, question option, what is written, and audio transcript, what you will listen to. Original artifacts, authentic, nothing is a replica. So this is the section you need to be aware of when you listen to the audio. Interactive screens matches to touch screen displays, because screens and displays are the same thing. Modern art, contemporary wing, because they mean the same thing, yep. And lastly, hands-on workshop matches with dedicated space, try sculpting and painting, like we discussed before. You'll be facing some distractors. They'll try to distract you a lot, so you'll need to mindful about some certain things. The unspoken trap. In our museum drill, option C, audio guide, acts as a classic distractor. Why? Because audio guide is present in the question, but it is never used. You'll never hear it in the audio, so you'll need to be mindful of things that are not being used. You'll always have more options than you'll use. So do not waste your time using redundant options that will never be the answer. We have a golden rule. In matching tasks, the options almost never appear exactly they are written. Paraphrasing is the primary mechanism. What is meant by this is that, like I said, there will be many distractors, and they will often use paraphrasing as a tool to convey their message to you. But you have to be aware of the secondary meanings of these words, and you have to be able to match these with their corresponding answers as they're present in the answer. So now we will be looking at a sample practice test, which is taken from Cambridge 14 Test 1. So the questions, 15 to 20, what does the manager say each of the following aspects of the company policy for apprentices? Or write the correct letter A, B, or C next to questions 15 and 20. So you will see that there are only 3 options and there are 5 questions. So you will know now that there will be some repetition. Yep. Now we will play the audio.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 15 to 20.
So you've been given at least 15 seconds to look at the questions. You are advised to use this time wisely. Just look at the questions, try to predict the answers as much as you can.
Now listen and answer questions 15 to 20.
Now, I just want to run through a few company policies for our apprenticeship scheme with you. Most importantly, the internet. As part of your job, you'll be doing some research online, so obviously you'll have unlimited access for that. But please don't use it for personal use. You'll have your own...
So, it is being said that to not use the internet for personal use. So, we can safely say that option B will be the correct answer for the question number 15. Because, yes, you will be able to use the internet while you're at work. However, there will be some restrictions. You cannot use the internet for your personal gains. Moving on.
For that. Some of you have already asked me about flexible working. After your probationary 3-month period, some of you will be eligible for this. But it will depend on which department you're in and what your personal circumstances are. So please don't assume you'll automatically be permitted to do this. I want to make...
So moving on, flexible working, we can also safely say that option B will also be the answer in case of question number 16. Because it says after your probationary period, you will be given access. However, you cannot work outside your own department. So let's say like someone who works in IT, he won't be able to go into management and start working with them. For this reason, you can safely say that option B, or there are some restrictions, will apply to question number 16. Moving on.
No confusion about our holiday policy. Apart from any statutory public holidays, we ask that you don't book any holidays until after your 6-month apprenticeship has finished. Time off should only be taken if you are unwell. Please speak to your supervisor if this is going to be a problem.
Okay, so for booking holidays, they say like apart from the holidays that are already designated, you are not to take any more holidays. So we can safely say that it is against the rules, or option number C will be applicable to 17 booking holidays. Moving on.
You'll be expected to work a 40-hour week, but there may be opportunities to do overtime during busy periods. Although you're not required to do this, it can be a valuable experience. So,
working overtime, the speaker says that other than the designated work hours, the workers can also work overtime if the opportunity presents itself. So we can safely say that it is being encouraged. You're not mandated to work overtime. However, you're encouraged to work overtime as it can add valuable experience.
You to take it up if possible. Obviously, we understand that people do have commitments outside work, so don't worry if there are times when you are unavailable. As you know, we don't have a formal dress code here. You may wear casual clothes as long as they are practical. And the only restriction for shoes we have is on high heels for health and safety reasons. Comfortable shoes like trainers are preferable. There's a heavily subsidized...
So if you listen to the last line of what the speaker is saying, wearing trainers is preferable. So preferable is directly mapped onto the word encouraged. So we can safely say that it is encouraged, or option A is directly applicable to question number 19. Moving on to the last one.
On site where you can get hot meals or salads cheaply. Snacks and drinks are also provided, so we've decided to introduce a no packed lunch policy. This is partly to encourage healthy eating at work and partly to stop people from eating at their workstation, which is unhygienic.
Okay, so we can easily say that it is against the rules to bring food to work, because the speaker says explicitly that you are not to bring packed lunch at work because it can make your workstation messy. So we can conclude that option number C, or it is against the rules, is applicable directly to question number 20.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, and that is all. Thank you for your participation, and I hope you've taken away some key points for this, and you will be able to apply this to your own practice sessions. Thank you all, and have a good day.